Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our web training series. I am Flint. We're going to get fired up today. We're going to talk about some new products that are available now. What are we talking about? We're going to talk about Night Eye today. So what this is, it's Liberty's newest platform of wireless enabled products. So this is pretty exciting stuff from new technology. So what we're going to offer is intelligent pump monitoring and alarm notifications sent to you via your smart device anywhere in the world, anywhere you connectivity. Overview. So it's going to be a free app download, so it's going to be app-based, which is really neat. You can go to your Play Store or Apple Store, and you're going to find the Night Eye app, and you can download it from there. We don't have a Microsoft one as of yet. It's a cloud-based system designed exclusively by Liberty Pump, so this is exclusive to us. We're the only ones going to be able to monitor the information on this cloud-based system, but it's a really cool system we're excited about. There's no service or subscription fees related to this. So a couple of our competitors have similar systems, but they do require a yearly service. We don't do that. We've actually added that. We do have some service involved. We do have some fees involved with the cloud-based system, but we actually roll that into the price of the product so the customer doesn't incur any extra fees on top of that. And it works through your home's wireless router, not cellular. And it's an easy connection using the Blink Up technology. Like I said before, Apple and Android compatible. And a pretty neat feature, something to keep in mind when you're talking about this, is that one Night Eye app can support multiple devices. So if you just have one in your home and you have a vacation home, or if you have a business that you like to monitor the system, this can handle multiple installations on the one app. It's going to notify you via text message, email, or push notification, and you can put up to 4 different numbers into that into the app, so you can notify your neighbor, contractor, or anyone else you want to have notification of. There's something neat that we included in this app. It's actually a low basement temperature notification, so you can set a desired temperature, and if the basement temperature would drop below that level, it would actually send you an alarm. So maybe if you're worried about pipe freezing issues or something like that, worried about your furnace cutting out, once it drops below a certain level, which is fully adjustable by the end user, it'll give you a notification. You can actually silence or test your alarm remotely from your smart device. So if the kids call and say, "Hey, Dad, the alarm's going off," you can actually shut it off from your device, so they have to listen to the beeping. But also, after 6 hours, it'll reset itself. So if you don't take care of the issue, the high-level alarm's on, you don't take care of the issue or don't figure out what the issue is, after 6 hours, it's going to reactivate and say, "Hey, I'm still in a high-level condition. What's going on?" It's also going to give you loss of Wi-Fi notification. So after a couple minutes of being out of Wi-Fi, it's going to send you a notification saying, "Hey, your Wi-Fi is out." Also, when your Wi-Fi comes back, it's going to let you know, okay, Wi-Fi is back going. But if it trips out for a second or two here or there, it's not going to give you a nuisance chirp. This will really only alarm after it's been out for a couple minutes, so it's actually some sustainable time. So what's it look like? So this is the LMI series. What are the features to it? It's a NEMA 1 indoor rated panel. So for people in the south and in the west where they don't have a whole lot of basements, we do not have an outdoor one available as of yet. Being outdoors and being on Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi is not too acceptable outdoors, especially if your router's inside. So what we could potentially do is some of the floats that we have to go with this alarm, we could make longer cords maybe, or we can give you extensions for some of these if you have an outdoor application where you need the alarm inside. But as of right now, we do not have an outdoor rated panel for this platform. Works off 120 volts with a 9-volt battery backup. So that's obviously in case of a power outage, it'll operate off the 9-volt battery. 86 decibel alarm. It's loud. You're going to hear it. And look at that. It's super bright LED alarm ring. So instead of your little beacon or no light, just a flashing light, this is an alarm beacon that's going to, you're going to see this from a long ways away. And on the front of the panel itself, you have your green power on LED, so that's telling you you've got power to the system. Low battery LED, that means your 9-volt battery is dying. Low battery warnings, that means it's really dying. Automatic silent reset. Wi-Fi LED is going to let you know if you have Wi-Fi at that particular time or not. Silencer test alarm manually or through your smart device, and that's what that test button's for. Also with this, you also have auxiliary contacts, so you can wire into your home security system. And the device will actually run up to 12 hours in 9-volt battery with alarm active. So if that alarm's going off and no one resets it or tends to it, it can run up to 12 hours, up to 7 days in standby mode. So that's just you know, not in the on mode, just in case if it needs to run. It can that battery will last for 7 days. So here's the bottom view. This is going to show you how easy it is to connect. Here's your 120-volt power adapter connection. 9-volt battery included. This is a really cool setup. Instead of having your little lead out there that you have to attach the battery to, this actually just clips into place. So you line up your plus and minus, push it in through the slot, and it just locks into place. So it's an easy hookup. Float connection. It's a quick plug, so it's a really beefy connector. And there you have your auxiliary contact that can tie into the home security system. Those are going to be a bare lead where you have to, you know, tighten it down with a screw. There's a couple different switch styles we offer with this system as well. We have the snap-on compact float. That's going to work in your nice tight sumps. So that's mainly going to be for clean water. You're not going to use that for sewage or effluent because of the grooves you have in there. You know, debris can just jam that up. It's also a reed style switch, so it operates up and down in the protective shroud. Again, it's going to keep that debris away from it. Also, it's going to work great in those tight spaces. And then you have the wide angle float, which we call the ALM2-I or /I. So that's going to be a 10 or a 20-foot cable on that float, but that's going to work for your sewage or effluent applications. So this is what the screenshot's going to look like when everything's working just fine. As you notice, there's a bunch of green check marks there. That means everything's up and running, everything's looking good. But what happens if you do have an alarm? So you're going to have a, you know, however you're indicated by your phone, but when you pop up the screen, this is what it's going to look like. Now at this point, you could silence the alarm. You can just do a reminder or remind me later, which again, will probably be that 6-hour period that's going to let you know, hey, I'm still in the high water level. Or you could dismiss it altogether, which it won't send you any notifications. But at that point, unless you have taken care of the issue, you know, you could potentially have further issues. Also, something to keep in mind as you're looking at look at the normal status screenshot. Up at the top, it has Liberty ALM series alarm. That's totally customizable. So if you do have multiple devices on this app, multiple alarms on this app, you can change the name of the alarm. So if it's you know, Billy's house or Billy's vacation home, or if you have a rental property, you can put, you know, rental property 1 in there. You can totally customize the name of that alarm to customize it to you. Full color packaging for enhanced counter and shelf display. So, you know, this is really neat. Typically when you get one of these alarms, you got that standard ugly cardboard box with a sticker on it. It really doesn't give you any information outside of the part number. The new box that we're offering here is a lot more kind of retail, kind of grab your attention sort of packaging, and it's going to give you an indication of what you're looking at inside there, also a couple of the features that you have involved with it as well. So it's just a lot neater package. All these are going to come with a quick start guide. It's a colored pamphlet. As soon as you open that top lid, the quick start guide is sitting right in front of you. So it's a step-by-step how-to to get the system up and running. Counter cards with night-eye product information pamphlet. So what we can do to the customer or contractor or the customer, we can actually, there's a cardboard piece we have with a slot in it that we could put some trifold pamphlets into. So that'll be great for a counter area or something like that where the customer can actually lift out a trifold, and this is going to tell them what's capable with the night eye systems. So how do we integrate that into our current line? Sump jet with night eye technology. This is pretty neat here. So this is a sump jet that we can order with the night eye alarm that comes standard with the system. So now you can have your sump jet with a night eye pump alarm attached to it. Something cool too, when you link up this system, as you can see on the screenshot there, it says Liberty Sump Jet. So it automatically knows what you're linking to the device, which is pretty neat. So now we have three different models when you talk about the sump jet. First one is just a plain SJ10 without an alarm, which we don't even like selling that. I mean, we're talking about these systems, the customers are buying them, which are really try to push any kind of alarm on this system because you are running city water through this pump and you are paying for that water. So if this pump is running, you definitely want to know about it. You know, we've definitely had those instances where this pump is run as a primary pump because the main pump had died and they've gotten large water bills. We don't want to have that happen to anybody, so we really want to push the alarms on these systems. So, you know, we still have this one available without the alarm, but we, you know, suggest not doing that. Then you get your basic SJ10A, which is a standard alarm. It's not the connected version, which is kind of the one you're used to. And then we have the SJ10A-I, which is going to be the sump jet with the night eye wireless and our wireless alarm. So three different ways you can do that. So how are you going to know that you're buying a sump jet with a night eye as opposed to a regular sump jet? Well, there's a couple different things we did. First of all, we put right in the part number with I at the end, and you'll see that on the barcode and on the sticker. Plus, we also put that really easy to see night eye wireless enabled product sticker on the box as well. So that's not all. Yes. So we're going to use, you know, we use a lot of ALM2s with any of our standard sewage ejector systems. Now we can make these night eye systems. So the Pro 370, Pro 380, Pro Bore 380 packages, we can make these available with the night eye alarms with them as well. So model numbers are pretty standard and pretty simple. We try to make everything easy for everybody. So simply by adding a /2-I, that's going to give that normal system that night eye technology. So P382 LE41/A2-I. That's going to be your standard 410 horsepower short and squatty sewage ejector package with a night eye capability. So how do we identify a night eye system versus a standard system? Of course, I will be in the model number on the serial tag and the barcode. We're also putting some tape across the lid that's going to indicate night eye technology. So they should be pretty easy to see. Storm cell. Something else I want to talk about before we move on to the battery backup stuff is all the stuff is available now. All the night eye stuff is available as we speak. So, you know, if we don't have the pricing to you, you can always call and ask one of our ladies about the pricing. But we also are sending out priceless addendums with all the new product on it. Those should be leaving this week, I believe. So you'll have your standard list pricing on this stuff very shortly. But the stuff is available now. Also, along with that night eye box, the panel that you see there, will actually be replacing our old ALM2s. So our ALM2s, we still have some in inventory, so they're not going to be available right away. We're looking at another month and a half, 2 months. But the panel's going to change. We're not getting those from SJ Rhombus anymore. We're going to get the ALM2 out of our same platform, and that's proprietary to us. So it's going to have a lot of the same features of the easy hookup, easy connection, but it's not going to be wireless enabled. But it's going to take place of our ALM2, and that's going to be a couple months away. But keep your eye out for that. The pricing's not going to change, but it's going to be a lot more user friendly. Storm cell. So not only with the connected material, but we've also upgraded our battery backup systems. We'll start off with the 442 series. Some of the cool features about this: it's a higher performing pump, professional level components, we didn't spare any expense here, user interface with LCD display, DC pump made by Liberty. We make that thing right here in our factory. We've got an assembly line for it. It's not a bilge pump that we bought offshore. We designed it here. Our engineers designed it here. We put it together right on the assembly line. And we also have night-eye connected models available, so we can really dial the system up. So what are you going to get with a 442 series system? Charger and control. So this is a model 442-10A, which indicates that you have a 10 amp charger, microprocessor controlled charger, single battery setup. This is set up for one battery. Plug and play wiring, which we'll show you I think in a future slide, but it's a plug and play like most everything else Liberty. LED status lights. On the left side, that box that you can't see, there's a line of LED lights that's going to tell you the status of the system. Integrated battery leads, no hard wiring, just plug and play. The model 442-25A is actually a 25 amp charger. This is the creme de la creme. This is the Cadillac version. 25 amp high output fan cooled charger. This can actually operate pump as continuous power supply in the event of a main pump failure because of the extra amperage. It's also microprocessor controlled dual battery setup with integrated battery leads, so we can run two batteries off this guy. Plug and play wiring, LED status lights, very similar. And both chargers will work with wet cell or AGM gel type batteries. So let's look at a pump. It's manufactured by Liberty, like I mentioned before, not a cheap import. It's an energy efficient design for longer performance. No need to angle the pump for airlock relief. If you noticed in our old systems, we had to have our battery backup pump tilted to the side to eliminate any airlock potential. No need with this pump, so it's going to take up maybe a little bit less space. Got a beefier check valve in there instead of the little flapper one. Let's look at the performance of this pump. This is really going to blow you away. This is really impressive. So this pump could actually rival a lot of third horsepower main pumps out there. So the 442-10A, which is your 10 amp charger, if this thing is running strictly off the battery, you're getting 30 GPM at 10 feet ahead, which is pretty impressive. Our 257 does 37 GPM at 10 feet ahead. So you get an idea of the output of this particular pump. Now let's say if your battery is not running, but you have 110 volt power and maybe your main pump failed. So if your AC power is on, this thing does 36 GPM at 10 feet ahead. So just some really out of this world performance. And these are legit pump curves. These are what we got in our engineering lab. 442, so this is a 25 amp charger. Still getting your 30 GPM at 10 feet ahead, but let's say your main pump died and this is running off of your, AC power is still on. 42 GPM at 10 feet ahead. I mean, that's ridiculous output. That's more than any third horsepower sump pump that you find out there. So what happens, continuous run times versus a 10 and 25 amp. 5.5 hours. So if that power goes out and it's got to run strictly off the battery in the charger, it's going to run for 5.5 hours straight, or 8,000 gallons. The 25 amp will run for 11 hours, or 16,000 gallons. And that's strictly off battery power. Now if it's turning on and off, like a normal sump pump would, the 10 amp's going to run for 8 days. And we're basing that off 10 gallons at 10 feet of lift, 4 times an hour. So it's a pretty steady rain. It's not a deluge, but it's a pretty steady rain. So this is going to keep up pretty darn well for 8 straight days, which is a lot longer than maybe the original system or a lot of other battery backup systems out there. Look at that, 16 days on the 25 amper. So this will run intermittently on and off with that 30 gallons a minute at 10 feet ahead for 16 days on just strictly battery power. So run times in gallons with the AC power on. You know, the 10 amp is going to run that pump. You're going to get that 30 gallons a minute at 10 feet ahead to begin with, but the GPN will decrease as that battery starts to die. Over the 25 ampere, that's unlimited at the pump curve. So if this is, this is only really if your main pump fails. This thing will run at 42 gallons per minute, 10 feet ahead, unlimited, if you have your AC power on. That's high output. So let's look at the panel. It looks very similar to our Night Eye panel because it's built off the same platform. The LCD display is going to, you can look at, you can actually scroll down and see what your system's doing. Alarm science, 6-hour reset, like I mentioned before. If you silence the alarm, it's going to auto reset itself if you don't take care of the issue. Plug and play connectors, again, exactly the same as the Night Eye system. 9-volt battery included, not installed, but it is included. Auxiliary contacts, again, so you can wire to your security system. Alarm test, pump test, you can actually run your pump from there, see, make sure it's operating. Menu clear, get you back to 0. Also, you can get this wireless enabled with your Night Eye technology. And then we got a row of LED lights on here. This is just going to let you know of your normal everyday status. So you got your power, low 9-volt battery, pump run, any faults, all LED display. And of course we have that cool 360-degree LED alarm ring. See that? Let's look at the battery box. So 44210A, it's only one battery, but it's a nice box. It's got venting and everything. It's going to have storm cell label on it. This will fit either a Group 27 or Group 31 battery in it, either AGM or wet cell. 25 ampere, we actually got a dual battery box for this. This thing's really neat. It's got, you can secure the lid with thumb screws. It's vented. This is a really high-end, top-of-the-line battery box. Compact float, very similar to the one that you see with the ALMI P1. Snaps onto 1.5 or 1.25 PVC pipe. Reduce potential interference with tight fits. Obviously you don't have that float ball swinging out. Easy plug and play connector. 10-foot cord. Internal switch for pump, on, off, and alarm. So there's actually 2 floats in there. It's a reed style switch. There's actually 2 floats in there. The bottom float is operating on and off. And obviously if that doesn't kick on for some particular reason, there's a second float in there, which sounds a high level alarm, but also it acts redundant on for the pump. So if that bottom float just stopped working for some reason, that second float sounds a high level alarm, but it's also going to try to activate the pump as well, which is extremely unique. And of course, protective shroud to keep all the debris away. Let's look at the part numbers for wireless enabled models. Why would you do that? They're available to you anytime, anywhere. So it's going to let you know wherever you're at in the world that your system is working or not working. So here's a little screenshot of what you're looking at. You get remote information of your AC power status. Even if your AC power goes out, it's going to give you an indication. Your Wi-Fi connection. Obviously, if you lose Wi-Fi connection, you may have to use other means to monitor your system, unless you have a backup for your Wi-Fi power. Water level. 9-volt alarm battery condition. Ambient temperature, so you've got that that low temperature alert on this one as well. DC pump status. If it's running, not running, ready to go. Pump fuse status, 12-volt battery status, going to let you know, obviously if you're losing battery power for some reason. Remote test alarm, remotely silence alarm. So here's a sample notification when your backup pump turns on. It's going to say, hey, backup pump's running. And at that point, you can either silence that alarm, remind me later, or dismiss it altogether. But again, that'll reset itself if you do silence or remind me later. 6 hours, it's going to let you know I'm still in alarm mode. Now this is a critically low battery notification. It's going to let you know, hey, it's time to replace these batteries. I think it'll give you have a low battery indicator, and then if you dismiss that, the next one will be critically low battery notification, which means this thing isn't going to work for you next time you need it. So let's look at the models. Here's your standard everyday models. This is the 442-10A, 442-25A. So this is just a 10 amp charger, 25 amp charger without your night eye capabilities. The wireless enabled models, you simply put a -I at the end. So that's a 10 and 25 ampere -I. That's going to come with the night eye wireless enabled models. So along with selling the battery backup systems, we're actually going to get into the realm of selling the battery for them. They aren't going to ship with the system. They are going to be a separate part, a separate order, but we do provide batteries now. And these are really good batteries. They're U.S. made batteries, and they're not they're not low-end ones. They're really high ones, high-end ones. They're really high-end, but they're really good ones from a very reputable company. So just some basic battery knowledge. Flooded or wet cell versus AGM. Those are the two we're going to offer. Flooded or wet cell are the most common lead-acid battery type in use today. Wet cell contain liquid electrolyte that can spill if tipped or punctured, causing corrosion to affected areas. They cannot be shipped via UPS or parcel post. So no UPS or FedEx on these because they can tip, crack, and obviously expose some pretty bad stuff. So don't ask. By law, we cannot ship these via UPS or parcel post. They simply won't do it. They get a little bit slower recharge compared to an AGM, less money compared to an AGM battery, lower reserve capacity for the same group size, typically higher cold cranking amps. We're really not worried about cold cranking amps. We're not trying to start an engine here. We're just kicking on a little backup pump. Now the AGM, or the absorbed glass mat batteries, are a latest step in the evolution of lead-acid batteries. An AGM uses fiberglass-like separator to hold the electrolyte in place. AGMs are spill-proof and the most vibration impact-resistant lead-acid batteries available today. These things can ship UPS or parcel post. They're preferable for sitting long periods as well. So if these are on a shelf somewhere, they tend to keep their charge a lot better. They're a little bit more money than the flooded batteries. Have a lower internal resistance, which means this thing could charge a lot faster. Something pretty important too, it doesn't produce nor expel hydrogen and oxygen gases like flooded lead-acid batteries do. So it doesn't have any electrolyte or water loss. So what are we going to offer? Our AGM batteries are going to be Group 27. That's a AGM style battery, 12 volt. 98 amp hour rating. Reserve capacity of 170 minutes. Cold cranking amps of 750. Thing weighs 58 pounds. Group 31, a little bit bigger. 110 amp hour rating, 200 reserve capacity minutes, 885 cold cranking amps, weight 60 pounds. Now these are the ones that we're probably going to push a little bit more than the maintenance of flooded batteries. If it's going to my house, I'm probably going to put an AGM in there. Here's a Group 27 severe duty. It's wet cell battery. Notice the amp hour rating, 105 amp hours. 125 reserve capacity minutes, again longer charge time. Cold cranking amps, amp rating 875, 47 pounds. The 31 severe duty wet cell, 120 amp hour rating, 175 reserve capacity, 1000 cold cranking amps, weighs 57 pounds. But if you talk to the battery people, they're going to tell you the AGM are probably a little bit better. A little more expensive, but probably a little bit better than the wet cell batteries overall. And again, the flooded ones can only go common carrier. Storm cell batteries only carry a 1-year warranty. You know, everything Liberty is a 3-year warranty from an installation date or last bill of sale. But you know, with batteries, obviously with their you know, shortened lifetime on, especially when they're sitting on the shelf, we're only going to do a 1-year warranty on those. And also, when we talk about disposal of batteries, we don't want to turn into a battery recycling plant. So, you know, by law, most places that sell batteries have to take batteries back, be it a Walmart, AutoZone, Exide, something like that. So if we do run into battery problems, you know, if it's a warranty battery, we don't want to be shipping batteries back and forth. So you know, we'll figure that out when the time comes. But you know, they simply have a battery die. They could take it into one of those places and they can recycle it for them. We don't want, you know, wholesalers probably don't want to be taking these back, and then you know, us as a Liberty Pumps don't want to be taking these things back. We're not a battery recycling place. Also available, we've had the pre-assembled sump pump combo series for a while, especially with the 441 package, but now we're going to make it available with the 442. And we're only making that available with the 10 amp storm cell systems. So here we have the 237, which is your 3rd horsepower aluminum pump package. And this is your basic 442 10 amp system, but it's all pre-assembled. We have that available in the cast iron 3rd horsepower, the 1/2 horsepower aluminum, and then something new we're doing is we're actually giving you the ability to use an S37 with this system, which is completely new. So maybe it's a little bit more competitive system, price-wise. And we also have the same systems available with Night Eye enabled models. So you simply put a dash eye at the end, you're getting the same package with the Night Eye wireless product. Not only with the technology, you know, on the wireless technology and the cool new battery backup systems, but we're also expanding in other areas. So what you remember is the ProBore 680, we're actually expanding that line. So up till now, the couple of years, 3 years, whatever it was since we've had this system out, we've had this 24 by 30 basin with 2 1-horsepower grinders in it with an economy alternating control panel. And now that that is kind of taken off and we're seeing some good sales in that, we're going to actually expand this line a little bit. So now we're going to become the Pro 680 series instead of the ProBore 680 series, and we're going to include obviously the 1-horsepower grinder pumps, but we're also going to put LE40s and LE50s into this package, and these are going to be, you know, the pre-assembled package that you're used to, just shipping out with regular sewage pumps versus the 1-horsepower grinder. So what you're going to get now is maybe a little bit more competitive package with that really cool, simple plug-and-play alternating control panel, but we're going to be able to do that with sewage pumps now. And these things are available now, so we can take orders for these anytime. And again, the priceless addendum is going to show the new ProBore, the Pro series, the Pro 680 series with the new product in it. But you can call for pricing anytime. Something else we're bringing into the line, and then some of our rep agencies and some of our customers are familiar with this, but where we've went against 5-horsepower grinders, you know, maybe we get into an area where they require, job requires 2 5-horsepower grinders, you know, we haven't been able to quote that before. So what we've done to combat that is offer package systems with 4 2-horsepower grinder pumps in them. We call that Quadplex. And I think we've gotten the word out there quite a bit, and we've sold enough of these to where we actually want to make a part number for these and have them in an everyday model. So what we're gonna come out with is a Q4800 series Quadplex system. Now these are pre-designed grinder packages with 4 2-horsepower grinders. These are going to be available September 1. If we take any orders before that, it's still going to be an EPS system, but to let you know, these are going to be standardized systems come September 1. Now these are going to quick ship. You know, in our price book, in our catalog, if it has a part number and a price, it qualifies for what we call quick ship. So we'd like to ship all of our product, you know, in 24 to 48 hours, but having a full off-the-floor or off-the-shelf Quadplex system with 4 2-horsepower grinders with a Quadplex control panel, being able to be built and shipped within 2 days is a huge deal. That's something no one else can accomplish. easily specified by engineers, so this now we can just hand them a piece of literature and say, hey, this is what you need, and they can just cut and paste. It's very, very simple for them. Have a part number instead of an EPS number. And like I said, we will have the standard Liberty cell sheet on it. We've concluded that a 40-inch diameter tank is probably the most popular one of these that we do. I guess we have done some larger diameter tanks or smaller diameter tanks, but 48-inch seems to be the happy medium. So these systems for now are going to be standard 48 inches in diameter. And we're also going to have 3 different depth sizes, 84-inch, 96-inch, and 120-inch options available. And those are just the ones that we've seen the most of. We're going to stock the Quadplex control panels, of course. BIM models and engineering specifications are available for these packages. So again, it's a really cut and paste, easy for the engineer. How are these things going to work? Or why do we want them? Benefits. Redundant operation provide better backup options. So if we're competing against a 1 or 2 5-horsepower grinder pumps, if they have a pump go down, they could be down to 50% capacity. Here we have 4 pumps in the system, so if one pump goes down, you still have 75% of your capacity. So on that side, it's a lot better, more redundant style system. Variable flow rates up to 200 gallons per minute, so we can set the control panel up to operate one pump. It's actually going to be like a 6-float system where it'll alternate what pump is starting, but you have the ability to start 1, 2, 3, or all 4 pumps, depending on your inflow, to get you up to that 200 gallon per minute range. Variable number of pump run options. So like I said, you have 6 floats in there, so we can run this, like I said, as 1, 2, 3, or all 4 pumps, depending on your incoming flow. Also, we could run this like a true duplex system where we can operate two pumps per cycle. So a couple different ways we could set this thing up depending on what they need, scouring velocity and everything included. I just said that. So cost-effective option compared to 2 large 5-horsepower grinders. So where we've had a lot of success with these is where we went in and when we're competing against 2 5-horsepower grinders, basins, and panels, we actually do come in quite a bit less expensive with a lot more redundancy. Service is much easier. One person can pull the pump out. We've got a 95 to 100 pound pump in there as opposed to 300 or 400 pound pumps. So if you had a 5-horsepower grinder lift station, you always need a truck with a backhoe or a truck with a pulley to lift those pumps out. The nice thing about this is typically one guy can lift a pump out. It makes it a lot easier to service. Like I mentioned before, only 25% flow loss while pump is being serviced. So if you do have that one pump go down, you still got 3 pumps cranking. So what are these? What are some standard features we're going to have with these? Available with discharge mount at 24 inches deep or 60 inches deep from the top of the basin, and that'll just depend on where you're at in the world. If you have frost line issues or if you don't. 3-inch PVC discharge. We've also come to the conclusion that 3-inch discharge was probably the way to go, as opposed to 2-inch, especially if you got all 4 pumps running. 2 inches cannot contain 200 gallons per minute, so 3-inch is what we've went with. An unmounted 6-inch inlet hub. We've kind of standardized on the 6-inch inlet hub. So if you do want something larger, 8-inch or something like that, it'll still be a custom system, but I do believe we are planning to stock the 8-inch inlet hubs. So that is an option still. And of course, we're going to stock single or 3-phase control panels for quadplexes. Blank fiberglass cover. We do have the ability to do hatch lids on these if that's what you prefer. That again will still be a customized system. What we're going to offer with these systems is a solid fiberglass cover. Here just gives you an idea of what the model numbers are going to look like. And they'll be a little bit more detailed in the price list, so you'll be able to see it a little bit better. So that's it for the new products, guys. We appreciate you being here today. Any questions, just go through your local people, go through the regionals, call myself if you have my number or email, or you can always call the factory directly. So thanks again for being here today. We hope you have a lot of success and have fun selling the new stuff.